Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 212th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and recording from the Revel Advertising Studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing great, Cameron. How are you?
I'm doing well. You got to have something else to say besides just kicking it right back to me every time.
Did you notice that it went from like 95 degrees yesterday to like 70 today?
Yeah. Hoodie season.
Yeah, we're in the fall, and I'm wearing this nicely, like kind of like a summer shirt, just to say bye. You know, we've enjoyed the toasty, sunny weather and all that, but
You have?
it's time for it to just give way to a little cooler weather, a little more football, a little more like chilly, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I don't think you enjoyed the...
Yes, it was fine.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. We can enjoy the sunny, toasty weather, even though summer's not my favorite sometimes. Still appreciate it.
Kyle, we had a therapy session last week. We're going to actually preview the Auburn game this week and talk about the successes and failures of the Abilene Christian game. Before we do any of that, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, leave us a review wherever you listen to us, and of course you can support us directly on Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. Where to begin? We'll save any depth chart news and things like that for the preview. We will start out with a 34-17 Mizzou win over Abilene Christian. 34-17. What does that do for you?
34-17, and one of those was a punt return for a touchdown. Just quick thoughts. It's a little concerning. It was not exactly what I was hoping to see, but I wasn't terribly surprised either. The offense, it's what it is. It's young, it's inexperienced, and it's not very good.
Yeah, the way you've put it multiple times, and it's just it's exactly what we see during the game, is they make everything look difficult. Every yard looks like a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were kind of talking about this before, actually, before we started recording tonight, just like how can they just get some easy stuff going, just get some confidence going, just get some easy pitch and catch, find some guys. I know it's obviously easier said than done, but just they need to get some intermediate routes going, have some guys find some soft spots in the zone, and just complete some 10 to 12 yard passes. I don't know. It just seems like we're going deep, or we're throwing completely horizontal and nothing in between. And it looks like the offensive line it's just muddy. Everything's muddy. Everything is it just looks difficult.
The plays that are like a huge success almost are like a surprise at this point.
Yeah,
which is really depressing.
Yeah.
Brady Cook, his stat line was pretty decent. 22 of 31. 297 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 6 times for 42 yards.
He's playing hard.
Yes, and he looked fine. I don't think there was nothing incredibly alarming about his performance, and it's just not, in my opinion, I don't think we can expect it to translate to SEC play right away. But we've got a really good opportunity that we'll talk about against Auburn. Something that Coach Steckel on the commentary pointed out multiple times is he kept finding the player that was doing about a 12-yard in and just kind of finding the spot in the zone. That's what you're talking about. Do you think that's repeatable? If it is repeatable, I don't know why it shouldn't be repeatable. Mm-hmm. Why haven't we seen that in bigger games or against better competition?
Yeah, I don't know. It should be repeatable. They should at least be trying it more. I think sometimes Barrett Bannister is kind of known as the third down guy, the chain mover, because he is so good at doing that, just kind of finding those open spots and kind of sitting down and making himself open. But, I mean...
He kind of had a rough game, all things considered. He had a big drop and a big holding penalty.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like that kind of stuff should be repeatable. It's not terribly complicated offensive scheming or like route running, but it just seems like when the defense gets turned up a little bit, that competition gets a little more athletic, a little more, maybe there's a little less time to throw. Things just kind of go out the window.
Yeah, and maybe that is part of it, just like slower developing plays and the horizontal passing game, you don't need much time, and a deep ball, you don't really need that much time. You drop back, it's a timing thing, and you just let it rip and let your receiver run under it. They did that successfully in this game. Dominic Lovett had 7 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he is well on his way to a very productive season stats-wise.
Yeah, he's definitely having the start to the season that we kind of hoped for, and he was obviously the one of the main picks for a breakout season for like a younger, talented player. I think everybody was kind of on Dominic Lovett, and
his
so far,
recruiting pedigree and coming into a sophomore season with pretty good experience as a freshman.
Yeah, everything about that trajectory makes sense for sure, and
it's good to see him living up to that
for sure. And I think hopefully that kind of he becomes the scouting report. Luther Burden's always going to be in the scouting report, but I hope that Lovett continues to play well and to kind of open things up for other guys in the offense too. I hope that maybe the defense is forced to kind of focus in on him a little bit, and it creates some opportunities for Burden or Dove or whoever it is, or maybe even just the running game in general.
The running game, it has been a struggle. Are we putting that on the offensive line at this point? There's 3 running backs. They have looked capable plenty of times. They each bring a little bit of something different.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think the offensive line is to blame so far, at least for they ran fairly well against Louisiana Tech, but the most previous 2 games, they have not really gotten anything on the ground, and the running backs seem like they're doing all the work. There's no room to run. They are getting hit almost immediately at the line of scrimmage, and I don't know. That can be really frustrating for a running back, feeling like you have to do all the work.
Yeah, Coach Drinkwitz in the post-game press conference said, in practice this week, we're going to we got to figure out who the 5 best offensive linemen are and give them all the playing time, basically.
Yeah, and I know the PFF grades are definitely, not everything, but I certainly think that can tell a story. That can certainly be a somewhat credible source for at least a piece of the puzzle for what's going on.
Right.
And the offensive line run blocking has graded pretty terribly all 3 games, and their pass blocking surprisingly seems to grade fairly well, but run blocking they have not graded out well.
I think that kind of matches. I mean, that adds up. I mean, it matches what we're seeing on Saturdays. Like you said, the running backs are getting hit in the backfield, and their first point of contact is at the line of scrimmage almost every time, and they're having to make a guy miss or break a tackle. And Brady Cook has okay time, and we've seen plenty of times where I think in this game he had confidence to step up in the pocket and keep his eyes downfield and find a guy. But like what we saw against Kansas State was just there's guys in his face. His eyes came down. He was more worried about, salvaging anything and like protecting the ball and stuff like that. That you can just see it when a quarterback is confident stepping up in the pocket versus they kind of shrink and their eyes go down. They're not going to be finding a play down the field.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think this is a little bit of everything, but the offensive line has been the main culprit so far for the struggling offense, and I think we know what we're going to get from Brady Cook at this point. I think that none of us probably would have ever said Brady Cook is a super high ceiling guy, but he's going to come in and play hard and do what he needs to do to get the win, but O-line definitely not helping him out whatsoever.
Did you feel like the defense did what they're supposed to do against FCS opponent? There was a really late touchdown.
Yeah, I would say they did a fine job. I think they maybe struggled with some missed tackles, but I think that's not necessarily justifying it, but that's part of maybe not respecting your opponent as much as you should. Guys just kind of not wanting to get hurt and that kind of stuff, which in some respect I guess I can understand. But they could have played better, I think. But ultimately, I don't think that game was ever in danger of being real competitive, and I think you could kind of tell that a little bit effort-wise. And yeah, there's definitely some garbage time points for sure too. So I think the defense will hopefully maybe be a little more focused in an SEC game.
How about that Luther Burden punt return?
Wasn't that so just like that was just so like a told you so moment?
Yeah.
Like, I obviously Coach Drink was aware of Burden's punt return talent, and I felt like that was inevitable at some point, regardless of what the fans were saying. But
if you're Chris Abrams-Drain there, it's like, this is Abilene Christian. Like, there was nobody there to make the tackle when he picked up the ball. I don't know. If I'm Chris Abrams-Drain there and I'm the competitor, I'm thinking, guys, I could have done the same thing.
Yes.
Like, give me that opportunity.
Yeah. He definitely could have, but you know what? I mean, he had some chances, and he did not take advantage of them at all. And we talk about it all the time. The last thing I want to do if I'm a football player is be the punt returner. That's the last thing I would ever want to do. Chris Abrams-Drain, it seems I don't know him, but I feel like he might agree. And just based on the way he was, a completely lack of fielding punts.
And would we rather that be a safe part of the game plan where we just let the offense go out there and have the ball?
Yes.
Or are we wanting to gamble on every punt return and make a little bit more risky play? Probably not.
Yeah, I was fine with if he wasn't comfortable trying to field those, like a bouncing ball or something like that, then just don't.
But at the same time, I don't think Luther Burden did anything. He didn't do anything that made me go like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? There was no like, no type of play from him.
Especially against those opponents for sure. It was kind of just like, yep. And he had some other good returns too, outside of the touchdown. But yeah, that seems like
clearly has the instincts for it, and we knew that without even having seen him do it.
There's like a small part of me that kind of wishes we could find somebody else that's serviceable, because Luther Burden's so valuable to the team, and I don't know, it's kind of one of those things. It's like it's an injury risk. But
yeah, well, he had to go over to the sideline after one of the punt returns, and everybody's holding their breath.
He went to the locker room after one of the punt returns. Yes,
but he was back out there still doing it in the second half. So the coaching staff's not too worried. And at some point, he's still a freshman wide receiver, and he's incredibly talented. That's exactly who you want to have out there.
Yep.
In future seasons, we could pass that role on to somebody else, hopefully who's equally as talented.
Yeah. Real quick, I kind of steamed on by one of your points that you brought up about the offensive line. You mentioned that they're kind of trying to find their five guys a little bit, and that was one thing that we kind of didn't mention, was that in this game the offensive line was struggling so much with penalties too, that they put some new guys out there. So I think it was Mitchell Walters was playing right guard maybe, and then EJ,
and now he is on the depth chart as
the starter.
No, he's got an or.
Okay,
so will definitely be a contributor.
And so that I think he maybe took Connor Wood's spot. Who Connor Wood has like 4 penalties or something like that. And then it was EJ Ndoma Ogar who was out there, and then he got a penalty as well.
I think I could be wrong, but it was pretty much like the first play he goes in, he gets a holding penalty.
Yeah, so clearly struggling to find usable assets on the offensive line. Connor Tollison, bless his heart, he shouldn't be out there.
No.
And I mean,
asking a lot of him.
But he would probably tell you the same thing, honestly. Like it's just an unfortunate situation. He's probably not ready to be playing SEC football, and he's a talented young kid who I definitely think he's going to be good, but just needed the normal arc of like what a freshman offensive lineman would do. I think he's a redshirt freshman, and he's clearly a little bit undersized, needs to bulk up a little bit, needs to add some weight, but he's going to be good. But it's kind of like the Drew Lock experience. Like he just got thrown in there and thrown into the fire a little too early. It's going to be fine, but it's going to be ugly for a little while.
And that's Mizzou football right now.
Yeah.
We're going to have good pieces. We're going to have guys that aren't ready.
Yeah.
Their freshman season.
There's nobody else.
Yeah. And honestly, on that front, Missouri is better off this year than they have been the last couple seasons. And that was, the coaching staff was talking about liking the depth and everything in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And there was definitely some truth to that. And we're seeing how when you haven't been recruiting at a high level until very recently, then you just don't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, create some glaring holes that young guys are having to fix and wouldn't normally have to do so, which honestly, in the future, that's fine. Get these guys experience early. I mean, Connor Tollison, barring injury or transfer, he's going to be the starting center for the next 4 years at Missouri, and that's great. But right now, it's a struggle.
Yeah, and he's just, you can't expect him to be even starting caliber his freshman year. Let's see here.
Javon Foster playing really well.
Yeah.
He's holding down the line. And I did Hiron White was at practice. I don't know if he was really actually practicing, but I think Drink said that they're kind of in the next few weeks are going to try and analyze whether he's good to come back or if he's going to medically redshirt this year and come back for next year, which at this point doesn't seem like the worst thing ever if he came back next year.
We had a punter change midway through this game. Jack Stonehouse came in to punt after some struggles from Sean Kading, and Stonehouse is now the starter for the Auburn game.
Congratulations.
He looked pretty good punting the ball.
Yeah, and I know it's just I shouldn't say just the punter, but to just have multiple positions where you're pulling guys because they're not playing well against an FCS opponent, that just isn't good. That's just not a good look. That's just concerning on a lot of levels, and I don't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, it's kind of like a joke in college football, the fact that even Alabama sometimes can't rely on their kicker to make field goals or their punter to, be incredible every game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not, I don't necessarily feel terrible being in a similar situation like that, but
with specialists.
Yeah. But man, it is honestly a game changer to just have a guy back there punting the ball that he will at least not, you will never end up with a net 20-yard punt or net 15-yard punt.
Yeah.
And it didn't, I think, lucky for Mizzou, we actually had a guy that could come in and bring some competition, because some teams, they're stuck with the guy that is a question mark every single time. I don't know, maybe some Mizzou fans would be okay with that, because then we just go for it on fourth down more often and stop trying to draw the other team off sides.
Yeah, we love doing that so far.
I think it did work once so far this season.
Yeah, it actually did.
Yeah.
I think. I've watched a lot of football in the last few weeks, I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure it worked for Mizzou at one point. Anything else of note? We did get to see a little bit of Tavoris Jones at running back.
Yeah.
In garbage time.
Yeah, he just got in there for that last drive, but I thought that I was really encouraged by what I saw. He looked like really good feet, very decisive runner, was hitting the holes and looked like a superior athlete just in the couple of runs that we saw from him.
So we need to get him some playing time moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I really just feel like in a couple years, it's just going to be the freaking Sam Horn, Tavoris Jones show, man. I think those guys are both really talented, really bright future, and they're going to be pretty nasty duo here in a couple years.
So let him redshirt this year?
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay. Did you already ask me that?
No, I was saying.
Yeah, I would say.
You want him out there?
I want him out.
Carries
I want him
game,
out there, but at this point,
save him.
The way that I just feel like the season's going, I just say redshirt him probably. If he's good with that, I feel like that's like a new element. Is you understand redshirting does not mean we don't like you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not good.
It means we need you to be the running back of the future.
Yes. We need you to continue to develop and be the guy in a year or two.
It was good to see Rakestraw get an interception. That was a really good concentration play, basically making it one-handed.
For sure.
I did want to talk about the uniforms, of course. They did something different on the helmets. There was a script, the word Tigers, So we got to ask producer Cameron, the graphic artist, what did you think of the Tigers script on the helmet?
I loved it.
Okay. Would you? Sorry. Go ahead. Would you have rather it been black instead of white?
Yes, but
Okay.
the script, like itself,
Yeah.
I do wish it would have just been like the solid black.
Yeah.
But the script itself, I really like.
Yeah. They seem to be throwing that on several different things. They the coaches had it on their shirts.
Yeah.
And they were using it in some social media stuff.
Yeah,
I like it.
really liked it too. Yeah, like some of the the final score kind of
Mhm.
graphics and stuff. Yeah, like score update graphics had the kind of the same typeface.
There you
Is
go.
that the right?
Wow, impressive.
Okay, awesome. I didn't know if I was going to sound like an idiot when I said that, but yeah, I liked it too.
This week, though, back to the oval tiger head logo.
Some
and
people really
all
hate
white.
that.
Yeah, whatever. Now,
Can't
what I
please
saw
everybody.
in
Look at the other SEC logos and then
Yeah.
complain about your logo. That's
Exactly.
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, not everybody's a Mizzou Florida tier logo.
Lagos.
We on the same page there? Florida's
Yes.
pretty
Oh,
top
yeah,
tier.
yeah,
Yes,
Okay,
for
okay.
sure.
Give
Give me that symmetry.
that nice oval.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the block game is still fantastic. We love it.
Of course.
Somebody in the replies to the uniform announcement tweet for this week brought up the helmet with like the diamond pattern in the gold stripe.
Yeah.
And yeah, why is that not the
I don't know.
standard?
That's nice.
Because that's a really cool looking helmet.
Kind of like coming down the
Yeah.
front there.
Yeah. We still have the gold with the 2 white stripes currently
Mm-hmm.
down the center of the helmet. But yeah, there was like a metallic
Is that
gold
some
with-
random like homecoming game we did that for or
I
something?
don't know. They just used it a few times one season, maybe 2 seasons ago, several times. But I don't know why we haven't seen that back. Maybe it's too expensive or difficult to get those diamonds on there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see what they did. You may have already just said this a minute ago, but like a black helmet with like the white
Yeah.
That'd be
writing
cool, too.
or something like that. I think that would
Yeah.
pop a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white on the yellow is just a little harder
Yeah.
to see from
Right.
a distance.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show off that pretty logo.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, that was uniform time. And
Costume, some people say.
You're kidding me.
was it you said that one time by accident?
No, it's just,
Oh. Some people call it a football costume.
Yeah, I think some people get a little annoyed how dramatic of a presentation it is.
Oh, I see. So
Just
they're
like,
trying to be
here's
like,
the costumes
yeah,
for
yeah,
this
yeah.
week. Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
Just, grumpy folks. Yeah.
Give us this.
Just let us enjoy
we don't
it.
have a lot. Let us enjoy the pretty
Yeah.
things.
We have a win over Abilene Christian in our cool uniforms. Just let us enjoy it.
Exactly. All right, let's get back on track here. What Abilene Christian? There can't be much else to talk about that game. The post-game press conference. I want to bring us back to that because Coach Drinkwitz was very thankful for the fans showing up, and he had nothing. There were no loser comments. He had nothing negative to say about the fan base. He was very positive and seemed very genuinely thankful for how many people showed up to this game.
Wow, winning fixes everything, huh?
Yeah, I guess
Even
so.
when it's Abilene Christian.
Yeah, and even
a PR person.
Yes, and it was family weekend, so there was a lot of people
Yeah,
in Columbia.
I mean, genuinely, it did look like the game was really well attended on TV. I think I saw that it was like the best, most well attended game since 2019 or 18 or something like that.
Supposedly, yeah.
So, which honestly, I felt like the Louisiana Tech game was well attended when we were there, but just seeing like there was a ton of people on the hill and stuff like that for Abilene Christian as well. So. Yeah, that was good to see considering it was after a pretty brutal loss to Kansas State. But you mentioned it was like Parents' Weekend or whatever, so there was probably going to be a crowd no matter what.
But in all seriousness, I thought Drinkwitz handled the post-game press conference very well, and I think he did exactly what I would have told him to do and hoped he would do, which is he didn't have to, completely do a 180 and, literally walk back his previous comments. He just needed to kind of be like, all right, it was almost like he was saying, I know what I said, but listen, I thank you guys for showing up, and are we cool? We're cool.
Yeah, we don't need the apology. Probably just don't even reference that.
Yeah.
But also,
we're cool.
Probably improve.
Yeah.
And let the fans know they're appreciated.
Right.
I mean, you're getting paid a lot of money to coach the football team. You gotta be friends with the fans. That's kind of a non-negotiable.
Yeah. Did we talk about Dave Matter bringing up, he tweeted about how many times they'd thrown the ball deep.
Nope.
Okay. So he tweeted that there was a stat that Brady Cook has thrown the third most passes of 20 yards or more out of all SEC quarterbacks so far this season. And it was only like 13 maybe. And like, for example, Bryce Young for Alabama has only thrown 6. That may not be exactly right, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And you spoke to this earlier, wanting to see more intermediate throws, so maybe we've already answered this, but I feel like there is this part of the Mizzou offense discourse right now is opening up the offense a little bit more, but it's always been horizontal or a bomb.
Right.
So the 20-plus yard stat, maybe that's a little bit reassuring, but I don't think that really speaks to the problem that we've been seeing in the passing game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can throw the ball deep, but, I mean, you have to show you can complete it, I think, is really what you're looking for as far as, like, stretching the defense, making them respect, like, somebody that can burn them. And, I think Dominic Lovett is potentially getting to that status where, the defense will see what he's done so far and maybe play a little softer defense on if they're playing man or whatever it is. But I guess we've attempted a lot of deep balls, but we haven't hit on many. And especially, I think they threw like 3 or 4 at least to Burden in that first game, and none of them hit. And so
a lot of them were underthrown,
and a lot of them were Brady Cook's fault.
That's something that Cook can honestly pretty easily adjust and improve on.
Yeah,
you still got to be accurate, but underthrowing guys on the deep balls, you can change that in a heartbeat
for sure,
just by putting more on it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something that has to improve, though, if they're going to open up the running game and that kind of stuff. The defense has to know that we can beat them over their heads.
Beat them over their heads.
Yeah.
Just
beat them deep over their heads.
Just beat them over the head.
Yeah, we would do that too, I'm sure, if it was allowed.
We'll try it. We'll try anything
Pull
at this
Mike
point.
Evans on him.
Yeah. All right, so that was Abilene Christian. Now we are moving on to a road matchup against the Auburn Tigers. Auburn is really bad, still favored by 7 at home. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, folks listening, Missouri football could get a coach fired this weekend. We just got to show up and be the better team.
Yeah,
got 2 not great teams going up against each other. This is favored by 7, whatever. Yeah. This is anybody's game. We're right back in the Kansas State situation. We've talked about this already. This is a winnable game.
Yeah.
If Missouri comes out and lays an egg like they did against Kansas State, it's going to be incredibly disappointing, and we're going to need answers immediately. So watch out for that. If that happens, who knows what. But
preseason, this is exactly what we thought could happen. We thought, there's a pretty good chance that we have the opportunity to go into the Georgia game 3-1. Don't know if they're going to beat Kansas State. Don't know if they're going to beat Auburn, but they have the opportunity to reasonably beat either of those teams. And I don't really think anything's changed there. And I don't think we thought they would win both of them. But I don't think anything, if you told us exactly what was going to happen, like win-loss wise, we wouldn't have been surprised preseason. And so we're still sitting here with an opportunity to be 3-1, 1-0 in the SEC, going into the Georgia game. So I don't know, man. This is about as juicy of an opportunity as you can possibly get on the road, going to Auburn, like a SEC West powerhouse. Like, it just will never be easier than this moment with a team that isn't very good and has their quarterbacks are hurt and the players seemingly have quit on their coach. It just does not get any easier than this.
Similar to when LSU came to town fresh off a national championship, but basically none of the players returning.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't actually know it at the time, but that was the opportunity to beat LSU.
Yeah.
Who knows when we're going to do it again.
For sure.
So this is that type of opportunity here. It was still a really big win when we beat LSU at home, even though LSU was down, and it's the exact same situation here. It doesn't matter that Auburn is down. This is an opportunity to make a statement.
Exactly. Yeah. It's still going to be those talented recruits that Auburn wanted, and it's still going to be that pretty crazy crowd. I mean, they're still going to have 80,000 plus.
Yeah.
It's an SEC game, and it matters, and so I'm sure the fans will show up. And that's been a huge concern in the Drinkwitz era, is they've been really bad on the road all 3 years. And I mean, obviously the Kansas State game was a really loud environment, and they looked completely disoriented by that. Yeah. So hopefully that was a lesson. Like, okay, that's what we have to. That's the standard.
We know what to expect.
We got to deal with that. Maybe that gave them hopefully some insights onto how to handle it again.
I don't want to get too negative here, but Kansas State, while we're talking about them, they lost to Tulane 17-10 this past weekend.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a yikes.
Yeah. The transitive property, isn't always the most reliable thing, but that's certainly not a good look. Getting absolutely trounced by Kansas State 2 weeks ago, and then they lose to Tulane. So, pretty much everything that if you look at those kind of factors, like Missouri not really handling an FCS team all that well, the Kansas State stuff, that stuff is not a great look for going into.
Tulane might actually be good. I'm looking at some things.
Okay, what are you looking at?
They're 3-0. They have not been. I mean, Kansas State was the closest game they've had. Big upset for them. They destroyed Massachusetts. They destroyed Alcorn State. Those are nobodies, but they're in the American Conference.
Who? Acorn State?
Alcorn State. Put some respect on their name.
Okay, I apologize.
And Houston lost to Kansas, I think.
They did.
So who do we have here? Tulane needs to beat UCF, Cincinnati, and Memphis. Tulane might be
Easy.
good. Back to Auburn, though. Quarterback TJ Finley hurt his shoulder, so he will not be playing against Missouri. We'll be playing against backup quarterback Robbie Ashford. Now, Finley had not been playing well before the injury. Ashford actually did come in against Penn State. Let me back up a little bit. Auburn 2-1. They beat Mercer 42-16. They beat San Jose State 24-16.
Yikes.
And then they just got destroyed at home. Yeah.
Yes.
To Penn State 41-12.
Yeah, they had like a three-way quarterback competition too, because the Texas A&M's Zach Calzada transferred there in the offseason, and I was hearing he was maybe third string anyway.
Right.
He is now out for the season with an injury, but was not impressing before that.
So Ashford is the guy now. He came in. He played against San Jose State a little bit. Finley was still the starter. Ashford threw the ball 3 times, and one of them was intercepted. But he ran the ball 7 times for 61 yards in that game. And then moving to the Penn State game, he played quite a bit more. And he was 10 of 19 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But then again, ran the ball 11 times. Wasn't very successful. He only had 29 total yards. He probably got sacked plenty of times because he did have a rush of 28 yards. Those stats always look weird when it's a quarterback.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think he's going to be a prolific passer. Now, I mean, you never know, because even we made our Adrian Martinez look good. Yeah. But he is definitely the most dangerous athlete that we've faced this year so far, like at quarterback. He's probably one of the fastest players on Auburn's team, to be completely honest. Like, he can absolutely destroy you, like in the option game, if you're not ready for it. And one thing that I saw him do a little bit in the Penn State game, just watching some highlights of that game last week, that Adrian Martinez got us with a couple of times 2 weeks ago, was kind of look like he's kind of starting to run or scramble a little bit and then just get a real quick pass out to because it kind of draws the defense in. Yeah. They think he's scrambling, and then
kind
he
of
just
that like extended rollout.
Yes.
Where you start to kind of be on the line of, is this guy going to take off?
Right. And so you kind of have to go in to defend him, and then he just hits an open receiver whenever you kind of forget about the receiver. So he did that with the running back actually a few times as well. So very capable running backs, and he's got the ability to get creative in playmaking too. So I'm a little worried about his athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can game plan for the option all week or even, and that's part of it actually. We wouldn't have been game planning. If they were looking ahead to Auburn with the game planning last week, we probably weren't really preparing for Ashford last week.
Probably not.
So we're going to have to retool some things and really pay attention to, they kind of run all type of option, read option, a little bit of triple option and speed option pitch style. So there's going to be a lot going on in the backfield. I think if I was trying to make a prediction there, I would say he's going to keep the ball a lot on the option reads, and we almost need to force it into the hands of the running back.
Yeah.
Their offensive line has not looked good in either in run blocking or pass blocking. So I think we just need to keep them from getting him or the running backs outside in space.
That's exactly what I was going to say was in some ways, Missouri hasn't been super great like passing, like pass rushing this year. Like they're not really getting a whole lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, not a lot of sacks.
Just enough sometimes.
Yes, in some ways that could almost maybe help them in this game if they could just able to set the edge, kind of keep everything moving towards the inside. Don't let them get out in the numbers. I think that could be potentially beneficial in this game.
What chance is there that we are just talking about him running, and that's all anybody cares about, and then he comes out here and throws the ball 30 times and racks up 300 yards passing?
I mean, it's not impossible.
We have seen backup quarterbacks who were known for running come out and throw the ball all over the field.
Yeah. Yes, there's a little bit of almost of a curse, I feel like, with backup quarterbacks. But specifically, the one that stands out to me was David Blau from Purdue in like 2018 or whenever that was. And Missouri actually won that game. It was on the road against Purdue. And David Blau, I mean, had thrown for like less than 100 yards on the season or so. Like he was just completely known as the run-only quarterback and torched us for 500-plus passing yards in that game.
Now he's in the NFL.
So
just because of that one game.
Basically, he had enough stats from that game to make a professional career out of it. But yeah, I mean that's certainly possible. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He's definitely not a scrub. He's not just like a wide receiver that they're having play quarterback. He's completely capable of killing us through the air as well.
Is this going to be an ugly game?
Yeah, I think so. I thought that about the Kansas State game. I thought it was going to be ugly. I mean, it was, but like low scoring from both sides, and
it should have been uglier for Kansas State's offense.
Yeah, the second half was that way.
Yes.
It was like good defense mutually in the second half and a low scoring. I thought that's how the whole game would be. I think this game definitely has the potential to be like a 20-17 kind of game or something like that.
You ready to make a prediction?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you like 20-17?
I honestly hadn't really thought about it. Yeah, give me 20-13 Auburn.
That's painful.
It's brutal. Look, I mean, I would love to say Missouri marches in there, gets the win. I definitely think it's possible. Like I said earlier, it's never going to be easier than this because of the factors we've talked about. Just an inexperience at quarterback, a team that seemingly hates their coach, and I don't blame them. He's probably out the door this season no matter what. They don't enjoy playing for this person, and it's pretty obvious based on how they're playing. Missouri can march in there, and I wouldn't even be shocked if they won by a touchdown or two. Like they're capable of doing that. But I just have to see it first, man. Like I just don't believe in them right now, based on some of the things they've done. They have to earn my trust back before I'm ready to get back on the bandwagon.
Yeah, the problem is Auburn's offense not scary at all, but they have really big, athletic defensive linemen.
They're at home.
And they're at home. I think Auburn's defensive line is going to make problems for Missouri's offense.
Oh yeah.
Brady Cook's not going to have a lot of time. There's not going to be a lot of running lanes. Cook is going to have to improvise, I think, and get some first downs running the ball. We got to get something going with the running backs and some runs up the middle. We got to be able to get 3 or 4 yards a few times.
Yeah.
Something I was going to say about the deep passing earlier is when you're not completing, like the way things have been going right now, it's like there's a chance we're going to have a big play, but it's like an incompletion is like okay, because on some of these underthrown balls that we saw against Louisiana Tech, and obviously it was interception city against Kansas State, some of those underthrown balls, you're thinking like incomplete pass is best case scenario right now. Yeah. So when that's what your vertical passing game is, you're basically just giving up a down. And we can't afford to be doing that. I'd rather run the ball for 2 yards than just have an incomplete pass that wastes a down.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I feel like you can take a shot whenever you get some good yardage on the ground on first down or something like that. You got a 2nd and short.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty optimal time to take a shot. It's not a lot of risk if you don't get it, and then you got a 3rd and short.
Yeah.
But Missouri just does not. They're not doing that at all. They're not getting good push on first down. They're not having any like 2nd and 2 or anything like that.
Right. And Drinkwitz talked about that in the post-game press conference again. He talked about how they are not getting a good down and distance on 2nd down or 3rd down.
Yeah.
I mean that's
the key to opening up your options and making the defense guess.
That's kindergarten level football analysis right there. I mean, yeah. Second and long, third and, not from you. 2nd and long, 3rd and long, bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. 2nd and short, good.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna. Oh man, I think this is gonna be an ugly game. We got to be able to do something on offense. I think it's going to be 17-17.
Ooh.
Going into the final drive. I think I'm going to give a really specific prediction. Missouri gets an interception in the 4th quarter. Auburn's trying to go win the game with a field goal. Missouri gets an interception.
Who gets it?
A linebacker.
Okay.
Linebacker interception, and Harrison Mevis wins the game with a field goal.
Wow.
But we got to stop Auburn one last time, and they just can't make a drive happen in 35 seconds.
I don't even care. I said I
20-17 Mizzou.
I told some of the guys on the Discord this week, like, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care how bad Auburn is. I don't care about the surrounding situation. I want to win.
Yeah.
I want to go get a win against a powerhouse team in a great environment, kind of get some confidence for Mizzou, bounce back a little bit. That would be awesome to see Missouri march in there and get a W. So I hope you're right.
It can happen.
It can.
It'll be...
If Missouri goes in there and does the opposite, if they get the tar beat out of them like they did against Kansas State.
If they get beat over the head.
If they get beat over their heads against Auburn, a terrible Auburn team.
Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen.
I don't even want to say.
Don't let it happen.
It's just Mizzou sucks. I'm sorry.
Don't let it happen.
If that happens.
Yeah.
Just
we're not gonna have to deal with that.
Please don't go there. Brian Harsin getting fired. By this time next week when we're doing this, we're gonna be talking about Brian Harsin. See you later.
Yes, I'm very confident in all of that.
Honestly though, if Missouri wins, is he gone?
I think so.
I think so.
Well, college football has set the precedent now this year.
The sport.
Yes. Auburn's they won't be afraid because other teams have made the move already. Nebraska fired Scott Frost. Arizona State just fired Herm Edwards.
On the field?
Yes.
Potentially.
So, that's the way it looks. So, if that hadn't happened yet in pretty high profile way, especially with Frost, then I feel like Auburn wouldn't necessarily want to be the first one to make that jump.
Oh yeah, they're the craziest fan base anyway. They'll do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Lose to Mizzou, come on. Like, Auburn doesn't do that.
Right. Yeah, that's the way they're viewing it. Man, I want that. We'll see.
Yeah, me too.
20-17 Mizzou. That's all we got to worry about. That's all we got to think about. Positive vibes only. Gonna manifest it.
I think Mevis is gonna have a huge day.
he's had a. Yeah, well, let's think here. So, I probably should have picked a score that requires fewer touchdowns.
That's exactly why I picked 20.
Yeah.
More field goals.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
He needs to get some confidence.
Yeah, missed a few.
Yeah. But
2.
he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
All right, let's pick some games. How did we do last week? I have no idea, but thank goodness producer Cameron is back this week. He can tell us.
Alrighty, last week, Cameron, you got 8 points. I got 10 points. Kyle got 11, and the guest pickers got 11. So that brings our season totals to Cameron has 23, Kyle 24, the guest pickers 26, and I have 30.
Holy cow. How many points did you just get this past week?
10.
Dang. Okay, got some work to do.
Alrighty, first up this week. Well, our guest picker is Matthew. Matthew, thank you for sending us your picks today. What'd he do?
I saluted him.
That was a very serious salute. I mean, it should be. We
We are
appreciate it.
thankful.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Alrighty, first game is Kent State at number 1 Georgia. Georgia, take a guess. Take a wild guess.
47.5.
Yeah, 44.
45. You want Georgia, everybody?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I'm so tired of the two teams just literally could. Okay.
Who's the second team?
Alabama,
They
I
almost
guess.
lost to Texas.
Okay, that's true. Georgia. I'm just tired of these super teams, man. Georgia
Super
is.
teams.
It's going to change any day now.
Okay, is there a bigger gap between Georgia and the worst FCS team in the country?
FBS.
No.
FCS.
Yes.
Okay.
And Georgia and the worst NFL team. What's the bigger gap
Absolutely, the bigger gap is in college.
Mhm.
between Georgia and the FCS team?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were about to go the opposite.
No.
No, I mean Georgia's got
Who's the
half
worst?
their
Who's
players
the worst
are
team in the NFL? The Carolina Panthers, probably.
They're in the running. Maybe Seattle or somebody. I don't know.
They have a win.
That's true.
I can't remember who they beat, but
Yeah,
Jacksonville?
me either.
Do
Jacksonville's
they have a
good.
win?
just call them the Panthers. It's fine.
Okay.
We want the first pick anyway.
Yeah. They suck.
Yeah. Georgia versus the Carolina Panthers.
That's a better game.
Yeah. That's a better game than
Still a bad game.
That's a better game than Georgia versus Alcorn State.
Yeah.
I bet.
I agree.
All right, moving on.
Anyway, another barn burner. Bowling Green at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a 30-point favorite.
That's going to be closer than the experts think, but I'll take Mississippi State.
Give me Mike Leach.
I think there's really only 2 debatable games this week, but
All right, we're all on Mississippi State. Number 20, Florida at number 11, Tennessee. Tennessee is a 10.5-point favorite. Matthew takes Tennessee.
It's at Tennessee.
Mhm.
Man.
Tennessee flirting with top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
Florida might be.
Florida looked really good after week 1,
Yeah.
but they have not lived up to the hype after
No.
that. I got to go Tennessee.
I think Florida is not going to live up to the hype year long, but I think they're going to have some big games. We saw one against Utah. We're going to see one here against Tennessee. I'll
Ooh.
take Florida,
Mm.
but Florida's going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster for Florida all
Okay.
season.
I'll take Tennessee.
Okay, let's go
You're on an
Florida.
island again.
Let's go Florida.
How many points did he get last week?
8 only.
8.
Okay, well, that was very courageous of you.
Yeah. I'm trying to make moves.
Okay, Tulsa at number 16, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 21.5-point favorite.
Yeah, sounds good.
Ole Miss.
Yep.
Easy week for the guest pickers, honestly.
Oh, yeah, what
Really?
a cakewalk.
Everybody on Ole Miss.
You ever been to a cakewalk before?
Yeah.
I've been to a thing where they give away cakes as prizes.
Mhm.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, and there's some kind
Mhm.
of walking involved.
Is it
Yeah.
like
on
musical
numbers?
chairs?
It's kind of like that.
I don't know
Yes,
how
yes,
it
yes.
remember
That-
specifically.
There's
but
a number on. Okay, it's
On the
coming
ground.
back to me.
Yeah.
There's a number on the chair or ground or something
Yeah.
that corresponds with a cake.
Yes, something.
And
But then can't you steal the cake?
Probably.
I think it's got a little white elephant thing going on with it.
Okay.
wow.
I remember doing that in like elementary school. Like maybe there was like some kind of school event at night. You know, what's weird as being at school
Mhm.
at night.
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. I did it at some sort of school event.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really deep in the archives of this
Yeah. That was a
brain.
memory that I wouldn't.
lost memory.
Yes. It'll be a cakewalk.
Alrighty. Northern Illinois at Kentucky. Number 8 Kentucky. They are a 26.5 point favorite.
Northern Illinois let me down
let you
big
down.
last week.
Who
I'll
did
take
you-
Kentucky.
Who did you pick them to beat last week?
Vanderbilt.
Oh my goodness.
How could you?
Rookie mistake. Yeah, give me who was it? Kentucky?
Yeah.
Kentucky, yeah, I'll take that.
Everybody on Kentucky. Already. Number 10 Arkansas at number 23 Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 2.5 point favorite.
Matt's taking Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Oh, Arkansas. They almost lost to Missouri State.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, give me A&M.
And they're still number 10.
Yeah.
A&M's a favorite. I don't like that, but I'll still take it. Just to differ.
We talk about this every week, but Texas A&M is just like a nobody.
They've been fraudulent for years, man.
Who do they have a good quarterback? Nobody ever knows.
Nobody knows.
Is their quarterback healthy? Nobody ever knows.
No.
I'll take A&M.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't want Arkansas to be good.
I hate Arkansas, man. I wanted them to lose so bad against the fighting Bobby Petrinos.
Yeah. Bobby Petrino.
That.
I've been hearing through the rumor mill, Nebraska might be interested in Bobby Petrino.
What's the rumor mill?
I'm sure Bobby
I
Petrino's
made it
he's probably within like a 5-mile radius of us right now. We could probably find him and ask him.
If he's
Find
interested in the Nebraska job?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should try to get him on and ask him
He's
that.
probably just around the block somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's try and get him on.
All right. He'll
All right,
definitely answer whether he's looking at other jobs or
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
What are
you
we talking
guys,
about?
you guys are on Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'll take
yeah,
A&M.
Yeah.
All right.
We keep like forgetting who we're even guessing.
We have a whole story between every single pick.
Yeah, cakewalks, man.
Yeah. All right. Vanderbilt at number 2 Alabama. Alabama is a 40.5 point favorite.
Alabama, but I think Vanderbilt covers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a kind of a respect thing. Nick Saban doesn't want to embarrass Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Does he have some
What?
family ties or?
It's SEC.
He doesn't care about that.
No, I believe you.
I'm just telling you.
Give me
Watch
Alabama.
the fourth quarter and watch Alabama let their foot off the gas.
Take the pedal off the metal.
Yeah.
Pedal off the net.
I'll take Alabama.
All right, everyone's on Alabama. New Mexico at LSU. LSU is a 31.5 point favorite.
Man,
Sheesh.
some good
I guess I'll
games.
take LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. This is SEC football.
Everybody's on LSU. All right, Charlotte at South Carolina. South Carolina is a 22.5 point favorite.
Dang, Mizzou versus Auburn's like the game of the week in
Yeah.
the SEC. My goodness.
Hopefully,
give
South
me-
Carolina doesn't look good in that game.
Yeah,
but
give
they're
me the
gonna win.
opposite of Charlotte. Don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yes.
Everybody on South Carolina.
Yep.
Some barn burners this week.
That's it.
That's
Somebody's
it.
going to trip up. I just know it.
It's going to be whoever Florida's playing. Tennessee. Oh, you think somebody's going to get upset?
Charlotte's going to do it.
Pickett?
Charlotte's Web. Pickett. No. Javon Pickett. No, I won't. I surely won't.
No Nebraska this week. They're
Well, at least they can't lose.
they are cowards. They don't want to play.
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
Taking a week off.
Can't play, can't lose.
that's true.
Don't play, can't you? Whatever.
Is that all? Are we done here?
Yeah.
20-17 Tigers. Special thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $10 level and above: Britt Treese, Brian Smith, Ryan DeMore, Tristan, Ben Smith, Parker, Daddy JD, Luis Hernandez, Tim Keens, Tyler Harsel, Brandon Garofalo, Brandon Hanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
You can find our t-shirts and stickers on our online shop, MissouriSportsPod.BigCartel.com.
Next time you're gone, I'm going to just sit here silently at that part and make Kyle say it. I'm just going to look at him like you got it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next week. After win.